Okay, off White House Bulletin, August 2nd. And continuing with David Birdsong's letter, I was irritable and angry about it, but that is no longer the case. Yes, definitely. There is absolutely nothing to get irritable or angry about. We're just doing our own thing. We're not doing anything wrong. If you just leave it, usually it'll straighten itself out. Kickstarter is growing into a place where $1 million campaigns happen on a regular basis. I don't think they like dealing with stubborn comic creators that insist on being treated just as well as the people selling 3D printers, paper thin bikes that can withstand a nuclear blast. Oh, I must have one of those. And whatever latest electronic gadget everyone must have. We actually do better than most indie comics, but well-known artists and porn comics make the big money. Well, yeah, obviously, that's just how things work. I think Kickstarter is just bigger and trying to figure out how to accommodate its own success while limiting the number of salaried employees. And everybody's doing that, and it's all working about as well as you can expect. Um, so I don't think you can really attribute it to Kickstarter growing into a malign place. It's Kickstarter. It's something that we use, and if any kind of problem is going to happen, that's where it's going to happen, is with Kickstarter, not with us. Um, I've investigated Indiegogo enough to see it's much friendlier to comic creators with much less restriction. The cost is about the same, and IGG has actually been around longer than Kickstarter. I didn't know that. I've already heard from backers saying that they would follow us. Everyone has Kickstarter fatigue. I would be cautious about that just because we are down to the last 100 backer Dave Sim Cerebus fans. So if the assumption is wrong, no, they X number said that they would follow us to Indiegogo, and we didn't hear from the rest of them. And turns out that 30 of them just have some problem with Indiegogo from the past or whatever. And suddenly we don't have 100 backers, we've got 70 backers. So I would definitely counsel caution on that one. But with the final Can 11 Australian package finally arriving just days ago, this is definitely a quote, let's talk about this in December, unquote thing. Things are moving into weird places on a daily basis, sometimes hours. Yeah, I'll give you that. And it's again, I think we have to focus on the fact the last Australian package being a very good example that if you just wait and wait and wait and wait and wait, most of these things will sort themselves out. Um, Again, just don't get irritable, don't get angry about it, don't get frustrated, don't think about giving up. Um, everything does tend to sort itself out. We just have to be patient about it. Um, then, yes, the 2 weeks of limbo were a much needed time for me to finally rest. I told Eddie I felt like I hadn't slept in 10 months. So I slept, then got up and slept. For 2 weeks, I took care of the dog and kept up with my Sunday reading of John. Not much else. Since then, I've had a much clearer mind. Yeah, that's definitely my prescription for anybody. If you feel like you need to just fall over and sleep, um, it, your body is probably right. You need to fall over and sleep. If it starts extending into way, way too lengthy periods of sleep, then you can start worrying about it. But in the meantime, it's and particularly in the case of a monotheist like yourself, who, as far as I know, is the only one besides me that reads John's Gospel in its entirety out loud. That I find is the best advice that I can give, is have regular religious observance of some kind that you stick to personally. Doesn't have to be going to church. I recommend reading scripture aloud, prayer, fasting, and when your life does start to collapse, let it collapse around that. That signals God that you're still on the team. It's not that you're giving up on God. It's not that you're giving up on Scripture. It's not that you're giving up on your connection to God or anything like that. That is always there. If you get to the point where you can't stop sleeping and you actually can't get through John's Gospel and you can't pray, then it's probably time to go to the hospital. That would be my recommendation on that one. Okay, that'll be it for the Off White House Bulletin for August 2nd. I will be finishing answering David Birdsong's letter, and then we will move on to other things, God willing.